Hi, this is where we do our forums, and I want to go through a couple things for you to tell you what I'm looking for on the forums. And let's see, let's go right here for the first one. Now you'll have several forums throughout the course, and this is where you express yourself, okay? It says here, number one, the difference between financial and managerial accounting. I typically like to do a video on that myself because I really think it helps set the stage for what you're going to encounter in managerial accounting. But what are the differences between financial and managerial accounting? Now, the important thing, and here's some other information. Again, if you've had courses at Oral Roberts online, you know how, or even on campus, they'll tell you all these things. How many words it's supposed to be. You're supposed to have a citation. Here's a good article from Dr. Gary, Forum Participation Made Easy. You can follow all that. But I want to tell you a little bit what I do. Now, I grade these manually, so sometimes they don't get graded right immediately like Cengage does. So when you do your homework in Cengage, it puts it right into the Oral Roberts system. When you do a form, I have to grade that manually, and I like to respond to the forums. I do spend some time. There's a rubric on how to grade it, on whether or not you've got the idea, whether you did it on time, that kind of thing, whether you made a citation. So make sure you always include a citation. However, I don't want, the most important thing that I want to say here is I don't want you to copy and paste it out of the textbook or an online thing. I can tell when you've done that for the most part. I'm interested in your critical thinking. College is about critical thinking, and especially if you're going into business and finance. In the world we live in today, computers and artificial intelligence can replace a lot of people. But the one thing that artificial intelligence can't do is do critical thinking, because sometimes you have to weigh different alternatives that a computer just doesn't understand. And boy, we talk about some of that stuff in managerial accounting, actually. But the point I'm trying to get at here is, don't just cut and paste. I'm looking for your critical thinking skills. If you don't get, this is not something like, oh, you got to have the exact answer, because this is your first exposure to this, especially in form number one. Maybe you know nothing about managerial accounting. Hopefully you've already done your financial accounting, but maybe some of you did that years ago. But you're going to read about it in chapter 1, or what chapter 15 I think it is in our book, where it starts managerial accounting. But put you put your thoughts into it. That's what I really want to say. Of course, you have to have the citation, a little definition, or whatever it's asking for. But what is it that means to you? And like I said, I have a story that I kind of tell that was my first experience in learning the difference between financial and managerial accounting, because I had no idea. I went into the accounting field and I never had a class in accounting. And so I was taught by somebody that just told me in 3 sentences, and it stayed with me forever. And so now I always share it with my classes. But put your thought process into this when you're doing the forms, this one and the others to come. Put your thought process in there, critical thinking. I will respond to them for the most part. I do have a lot of students, so and a lot of people do the same thing. Make sure, by the way, this one's cut and dry. We already read it, but make sure you answer the question. Read the question on what it's actually asking, and I say that, and I know I'm going a little long, but I say that because in past, especially in some of the classes where there's more advanced questions than what you have here, they go into great detail about all this stuff, and I go, well, yeah, but that has nothing to do with what the question was. So that's where the rubric helps me when I'm doing the grading. I first of all look at that, and then I add in on your critical thinking type skills to make the grade. The only person on the forums that gets a perfect score is the one that really fulfilled what I was looking for. So again, I'm not grading people off to just be mean, but this is one area that I have an opportunity to to give you influence on some of the things that you're going to use this material in real life, and not just, oh, I read it in the book or I took a class, right? Okay, well, thank you, and have fun with the forms. Okay, have fun with them.